So I'd like to call this, the Nagog Hill Orchard Ad Hoc Working Group meeting to open. And today is January 10th, 2024, and it's 7 o'clock, and we have a quorum. And do we have any new business to add to our agenda?
I'd like to add 2 items. One is the ad review, and then one, a discussion of adding, if it's needed, a budget item for FinCom.
What was the second one?
Budget item for FinCom.
Okay, good.
And we have a meeting scheduled for next week, correct?
Yes.
And do we know whether Brad will be there for that meeting?
My impression was like he might.
Okay. I wasn't sure when he's coming back.
What day is that meeting?
The second meeting.
No, well, we have another meeting, but I'm talking about we don't have anything for FinCom. It's different. Okay.
Since we did not have a discussion of money on the agenda for this meeting, I might propose that we discuss that on the 17th and come prepared with the items that we want to.
Correct. And I definitely agree, we're not ready to do that tonight, but I would like to at least have someone reach out to ask FinCom if they would like for us to do that, if we can do that, because I don't want to spend all our time coming up with a budget.
And
if they don't want it as a line item.
Okay, got it.
That's the only, it's more of a question versus a
Understood. Okay.
discussion.
Okay, so should we start with the marketing?
I think we should start with the RFI.
Yes,
Definitely.
definitely. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. So Karen, do you want to start us off with the RFI?
Sure. So council approved our changes. There's still open questions or open edits in here. I'm not sure who hasn't had a chance to review. If anyone hasn't, we're running out of runway. There's one edit in here that I wanted to address. Let's see, maybe I can share my screen. Is there a way for me to do that? Do I need to log?
I
need
can
to
make you
need to get into the meeting on Zoom first. I think.
share simultaneously.
I'm gonna just keep going. One question regarding edits was that, Sarah, you had a question that you wanted farm stands to be plural,
So there are technically 2 farm stands.
but we only talk about one farm stand for the rest of the RFP. And so I'm worried about some confusion. I think we either need to add some
We can
discussion about the second.
plurals. Yeah, we can just add
Or
the
we
plurals,
need
but
to-
there's the one that's up top that needs repair and then the one down below attached. to
Okay,
that
but
one.
what I'm saying is that for the rest of the RFP, RFI, there's only one farm stand discussed. So we either need to add some sort of reference to why we've pluralized it, or we need to remove the plural.
I think the confusion is what we're calling a farm stand. So there's that upper building that basically the pick your own shed that has since fallen into a little bit more disrepair.
Mm-hmm.
And then what the public thinks of as the farm stand, which is the one connected to the barn.
Mhm.
So I think that's where the miss is.
Yeah, I
So
always
it's just a
think,
classification on those 2 buildings would be my,
Because historically, the top one was a farm stand. But for the purpose of this, if you want to just leave it out as an outbuilding or something, we can do that. But technically,
in my mind, I always thought it was like a shed or an outbuilding.
That probably would be clear to someone who doesn't know the property to just call it a building,
Call it a shed.
or
Okay,
something.
so Karen, let's strike the plurals. It's only one location.
There's another question of, Sarah, you had a comment that,
Is it easier to start at the top and we'll go down? I don't know who's.
I mean, I only have 2 outstanding questions, and this is the second one. Which is that, we refer to 4.18 acres.
Yeah.
You said this should be noted on a map somewhere,
What
But
page
I-
what page are you on?
but what map?
We're on page 1.
Oh, still on page 1.
Yeah, we're on
And
the
we're
third
at the
paragraph.
bottom
Oh,
of
I see
section
it. I
2.
see your comment now. Okay.
So I guess I'm curious, or at least call out where the 4.1 acres is.
Is that referring to the parcel with the house and the barn on it?
This is a cut and paste that's been in here since day one.
Yep, and I've questioned this.
And so
Would you know
this
where?
is a cut and paste from, council. From the last, from the, I think it's the last, either the last RFP or their memo, their memorandum that they wrote where they have their conclusion.
So if you look on the map, is it the little chunk out of,
Between 5 and 8.
yeah, between 5 and 8 or below 9-1?
Mhm.
It's neither of those? Then it must be the barn and the house, but I don't think that's 4 acres.
No, it's 3.5.
See, I have your acreage breakdown.
You think it's an error that's just been cut and pasted over the
It could
years?
very well be.
Let me pull up
Like an error, we just keep moving around without it.
Do you have a parcel number?
No.
Did you email that to me?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, Jesus. Internet.
Will it kick you off?
So what's it referring to?
We don't know. That's what we're trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I might recall by then, maybe if I know a little bit more.
Portions of the parcels could potentially be licensed for use as portions of the orchard that the future party is expected to manage. The area excluded from the premises but included as land to be managed consists of approximately 4.18 acres. So not on the premises, but to be managed.
The ones you sent me. It's just.
Maybe the exclusion area by the remote fields.
That's what I just asked Sarah, and she said that wasn't it.
Oh, okay.
Acreage.
That's like
Oh, there it
that,
is.
think about that size and not part of the APR.
Yeah, there's nothing that equals 4. Very good. 4 point. What is it? 4 point what?
4.18 plus or minus.
It's from the, looks like it's from the RFP. That's the only thing in the Google Drive that also references 4.18. Yep, it's from
I will.
our RFP. You're excluded.
Or just stop looking on this, well, on the first page. We do property description and we're talking about this exclusion of this 4.18 acres. I don't know what that refers to.
It's not this one here, just slightly off. And it's not 3.36. Yeah.
So if we add up all the unrestricted lands, which is not right here. Unrestricted lands. 3.63.
That's like 8 acres.
The area behind us on the land.
Would it be with the large houses? I think some of that falls in the APR, the house,
It does. Some of the
houses-
caretaker house,
yeah,
yeah, separated that out. Where the houses is 1.17 acres and the very end of the lot on the Neshoba closest to the Acton line is 1.87 acres.
So it's 3.5 something.
but all those are in the APR.
3.04.
Maybe have the wood lot on there.
This was off of all the maps with all the lot numbers. So that was, Sarah had added some her way, I did it a different way and it came out pretty close.
So 4.18 a sum, or is that?
We don't know. Yeah, we just can't figure it out.
I think we should assume it's the unrestricted land.
which is those two little batches, one in field. Is it one in between 5 and 8 and one below 9?
One is the lot 105 area behind the big upper barn, which is just raw land.
Mhm.
So approximately 6 is in ag, 1.5 isn't, because you can't do all of it, and then the other.
On the map.
Okay,
and then
I
the-
can't get my maps all the time. Like,
No, we're good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we've mapped out. Yeah, I think we would assume that it's unrestricted land.
but we don't,
No, where it is.
I mean, is it important to have that in the RFI? I mean, is it that level of detail? People are gonna not make their decision
yeah,
to use or not use the orchard based on the fact that 4 of the 80 acres or whatever are not in an APR but expect to be managed.
yeah.
So I would say, like, if there's debate and doubt about what we should do on this, we could probably just omit that sentence
Mhm.
and continue with the RFI, and I think it would be just as valid.
Yeah,
It's,
because
it's exploratory.
Mhm.
There's no,
So that's probably.
It.
yeah,
Okay.
the amalgamation of those 3 little unrestricted parcels.
So you wanna leave it in or leave it out? Just leave it in?
It sounds like that's our best guess. My guess is town council doesn't have any more idea than we do.
No, because it was in the original part. Let's leave it in and then.
But now we know what it is, so.
Okay,
Okay, should I read the paragraph out loud just to make sure
Yeah.
everyone's excluded from the premises are those parcels of land that are in the care, custody, management, and control of the Conservation Commission. However, portions of those parcels could potentially be licensed for use as portions of the orchard that the future party is expected to manage. Yeah, excluded from the premises, but included as land to be managed consists of approximately 4.18 acres.
okay.
Yeah, plus or minus.
The next page, 13, where we talk about backgrounds. I added at the bottom of that when we talk about mid-1970s, about the tracts of land and such. That the pick your own remained open to the public through 2019. That was one statement I added. And then the only other thing that,
Was that in the 3rd paragraph of the background?
it's, where it says historical data dates farming on that paragraph,
Oh, I see, okay.
it should be in there.
I don't see any changes to that paragraph.
Pick your own remained open to the public through
Yeah, I
2019.
added that today.
Okay,
And the only other thing that council agreed for with Karen's edit was in terms of objectives, where it says you can lease up to 30 years. Originally, it said or sale of the parcels, but I added in APR. So that we're specific. If there's sale, we're just talking about APR parcels.
and I saw you asked Jenny about that, I
Mhm.
believe, and she said that's fine.
Yeah. So we're good to go. Current state of the premises where we talk about residential structures, 70 Nagog Hill Road. Jen and I were talking about this the other day. I added in, but it didn't make the original edits to put in the lot number. I think it's just for ease for people to understand. So it says 70 Nagog Hill Road / lot 104. So it's just easier for people to reference. Same with the barn, lot 105, and then the lower barn, lot 107. And then all the way down at the lower barn, I did strike out the word where it says a series of 5 garage doors. I think there were 3 down below. I didn't have a chance to go look today, so I just took out the number of doors. It's like, well, I know there's at least 3, so.
So moving back up to, the beginning of section 5,
Mhm.
do we want to change 2 farm stands to 1 farm stand?
Yeah.
You wanna take the S out there?
A farm stand.
Um, for the lower barn and the cottage, we added some clarification that those are potentially available, but that they're not included in the RFI.
Right.
Mhm.
It's background information only.
That's
We
good.
added some water.
So we have to
language.
remember there's not public water down at that cottage.
And it says that,
I added
oh,
that.
you added
I
that? Okay.
today. Yeah. And then below that, when we talk about the water source for the house and the barn, and when we talk about the well, and Karen added in the attachment, I thought it was good to know that the house and the barn are supplied by town water.
Mhm.
So because we've talked a lot about water, but that wasn't in there.
So exhibit A is added in and changed now. It's the same as the map up above on page 1. We're down to 1 plan for lot 101, the one that's in there now.
So lot 101 has nothing to do with this. Lot 101 was the land that was purchased, which is now the Yap property in terms of the trails. It was part of the original purchase, but has nothing to do with this RFI. Charles never had anything to do with it since the sale from the Morrisons.
Okay.
This should not be mentioned.
All 30 acres.
Yeah.
So we start with,
So we start with 102A.
we start with 102A.
Yeah, perfect.
106, 107, 108, and 104, it looks like, or there's like sort of an overview. That's the second. 110 and 111 in detail, 104 and 105 in detail. 107, and then there's a note we've added that it's, again, provided as background information only, but it may be available.
Yeah, so that's the lower barn. So you've got the conservation field there, but that's where the forested area is back there.
Did we get rid of, 102 and replace it with 102A? Do you remember how there was both?
Yeah, so the A is in
The
there.
A is in the other ones. Yeah, because we had 2.
Yeah, it says 102A and
Yeah.
it's gone. The other one's gone. And then just to make sure 102A. Yep, we're good there.
And then we added exhibit B.
Yeah, the water.
So everyone's good with that.
That's right.
I think internally it's fine.
Add.
Where are you now, Karen?
We just looked at exhibit B and now we've got the APR documents.
Yep.
but I don't have a header on those. It's exhibit C. Um, I think everything's been approved by council. The changes,
Thank you for getting that email address.
yeah, we'll need to talk about that separately, what it can and can't do.
Right,
But we do have an.
but for
email
that
address.
purpose, you're gonna keep it in here though,
I
correct?
think, well, I think so, unless
I think,
our next discussion indicates that we decided not to use it. In which case I'll update. All right, that's about it for
Okay.
changes, and hopefully everyone's had a chance to review. If they haven't had a chance to review and they haven't read this, and I would encourage you to let us know right now. I mean, because
some of us have read too many versions.
Yeah, 'cause
I'm like, wait, which one is
this is it, and I would much rather give folks more time to review than publish something that everyone hasn't had an opportunity to read and get behind.
No, I really appreciate all the work you put into it, and definitely, I know Sarah has
It's all
also put
good.
a lot of good work into it, so.
I move
With the
that
map.
we accept the amendments to the RFI on this day, January 10th.
I'll second it.
Motion. pass.
No, all those in favor?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All those who disagree? Motion
Unanimous.
passes.
So discussion would be the email address, Karen?
Yeah, so cannot set up auto replies. Which is something that we discussed earlier.
Unless it's just the two of us with our select board emails on it.
No, that is not what I understood from Nancy.
Oh, because I thought she said I can put externally.
And to be,
Well,
not to
maybe I
carry this,
misunderstood.
that's not what we agreed for anyways, that we want some more transparency in here, that one of the committee members would be part of that we're not gonna use the board of selectmen.
That's fine.
Yeah, and so she suggested, or she asked if we wanted to use the portal instead. But I told her that, yeah, we're looking to have, more folks getting insight into what comes in,
Okay.
than I think the portal will allow, so.
And I think the auto reply, someone's gonna be checking the email, so I think it's fine. Just be consistent.
So then the question is if we want to keep this distribution list and use an email address, like we've shown right now in the RFI. We just need to know who should be on it. Who should be receiving these emails.
Yeah, I'm happy to keep an eye on it.
So it should go to 2 people.
I don't think it necessarily includes you and me, Matthew, unless we ask it to, so.
I don't, that's fine. I mean, it doesn't need to include me or you. I mean, it can, but
Right, I think it's appropriate that the chair is on there,
Brad,
yeah.
Yeah.
It can be Brad and Amy.
you can use my Gmail account. That we-
So because Brad is not here, I would make a motion that we use his name, but at the next meeting. If he doesn't want to do that, then we'd have, someone else can take his place for that.
Okay.
Just so because he's not here, delegating when you're not here.
Yeah, we can just, yeah, I
Yeah.
can. If we aren't using the solicitation portal, then then the RFI is going to reside on our page. That's what the QR code goes to. And then we can ask Nancy to give it good placement on the homepage
Yeah.
as well.
So just right now, just Amy and Brad on the distribution list.
I think so. Depends, I think, on whether we're publishing before or after we get Brad's okay. I think after, correct?
Publishing,
The RFI.
Like,
we're not gonna wait.
does anyone know precisely when he's back
He's back for the next meeting, I think.
on the
I don't
17th?
think he's in country till one day or two.
Yeah, I still think he's in Nepal.
I'm happy to take his place for a week
Yeah,
as the chair of
I
conservation.
don't think we'll get any, I don't think we'll get much.
It'll take people a while to pull their applications together.
Yeah. We've got dates in here for, as, proposal is due, or proposals, in response to the RFI are due March 1st. We discussed Q&A before and said that we would just do Q&A as it comes in.
Mhm.
I think we're okay to do that.
Can we put that on for discussion for the next meeting so that we have standardized responses to the Q&A? That there should always be two people on those calls so that we're having the same messaging.
So in a solicitation process where you're actually looking for bids, questions are gathered and then published at one time with one set of, these are all the questions that were asked of us and these are our answers to all those questions.
So what I could do is,
We
as
don't-
questions are coming in, I could start like just creating a document with all the questions and then we can formulate the answers.
Yeah, what I was gonna say is we don't have to do it that way. We don't have a date in here that we're gonna publish answers or anything like that. I think we're free to handle
Could it
questions
be
more informally, which
could it
is
be
the
a
way we've got
rolling-
it structured now.
so that it's a rolling structure so that as questions come in, that can be posted so that we can answer that? I don't want to wait to answer them because that's another way of you're impeding someone's progress of trying to get something done. So I'd like to be able to
Yeah, we can do it.
publish it weekly, or if there are any questions.
Yeah, are there any questions that
It makes sense to do it bi-weekly with our meetings, so
Right.
that we're not violating or meeting law with deliberations on
Sure.
different.
I think that's a good idea. I was gonna say, like, we should probably debate the answers if,
Yep.
well, maybe it won't be a debate, but we should all agree on the
Yep,
answers.
I think that's great.
Okay,
Does anyone think there are any questions that people will just like ask that we can anticipate and just sort of start that list?
We could probably discuss that at the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do we need to revise the language, where we talk about section 10?
what does it say now?
Questions submitted are subject to public record. Requests should not contain proprietary information. We reserve the right to engage in discussions with any respondents in order to clarify that respondent submitted response. And that questions will only be accepted via email, but we don't say that we're going to be publishing them as a matter of course.
I mean, we can just publish them and then email the people who asked and say, we've responded to your question.
You can find it on the website.
I don't think, we don't need to spell out the method of responding in the RFI, do we?
Well, I mean, as a I'm just thinking from the respondent's point of view, there's a difference between having your questions subject to a public records request
And
and having them posted proactively on a public website. I think it's fine. I just think maybe we
Yeah.
should spell it out.
yeah,
It might make folks want to formulate their questions differently than if it was just subject
that's,
to a
that's,
FOIA
that's
request.
that's a fair point.
Questions submitted will be subject to public notice, not contain correct information. Town reserves the right to publish questions, answers.
What's next?
Nothing as far as the RFI is concerned.
Can we talk about how the delivery method of this, because we know we've got a lot of people that are just ready to read it and see it. Hyperlink, PDF, all methods of above.
QR code will go right to the website. There's no reason we can't create a PDF, and we could post that on the web page as well. And then people can download it and email it or send it out if they wish. That's simple enough.
So I'm hoping because this is approved today, that this will be available tomorrow. Because we missed last week.
Depends on how pretty, well, it depends on a few things. One is how pretty do we want it? Right now, it is what it is. There's no seal of Littleton, there's no I mean, this is it, we've got text on paper. If we want it to be prettier, then, I can, I would have to go to town hall and see how they can help me. But now that we've got it finalized, format it and get it
Could it have like
looking more
a,
official.
like a first page, like, that would be on like town letterhead?
I mean, I'm assuming that that we have a standard format in terms of letterhead or graphics and that kind of thing. So I would think it probably wouldn't take long, but I can't speak for, I don't know other people's schedules.
Right, so, and you can modify that and you can write on that document, revised on this date, seal added. So, I'm more, what'd you say?
I just assume get it out.
Right, and then with the understanding that when the seal is added, that can be updated, no language changes, and you can write on the bottom that it was revised logo on this date.
So I just looked at the RFP.
Mhm,
It just has a picture of the orchard and text header with a title.
mhm,
And then it's text and maps, just like this one.
mhm.
So I think we're probably, we could spend 5 minutes like making sure the margins are actually sane, but we probably don't need to do more than that.
Mhm.
I'm good with putting it out as soon as possible. I mean, there's not.
So is anybody volunteering to do this formatting? And get
I'll do it. Yeah, I'll do the formatting. I'll do it tonight
Okay, great.
and I'll send it around.
And then Matthew, that version, we know who that has to be sent to get it posted on the town.
I can post it on the town website as well, because I have editabilities on that page.
You do?
Yep.
Ooh.
I'm fancy like that.
Okay,
And I can also save it as a PDF and post that as well.
that'd be great. So that
Can you
way,
send us all the
Oh,
PDF?
totally, yeah.
and And then I think for the next meeting, we can start a list of who has contacted whom. So we don't berate the same people many times, so, in terms of organizations and such. I think it's more for what organizations we contact, it doesn't have to be every individual that's contacted.
I think Brad had a whole slew of people.
But those, some of those were in the original document, I think.
And I think there's a few, I think he just knows of a few other organizations or people, I'm not sure.
We can send it to Jim or Sarah and Jamie.
Yep.
The more the merrier.
And then we'll wanna obviously put I don't know if we want an email blast out to the town.
I don't think that's necessary. I mean, like, people in the town aren't gonna be applying.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
just like an additional email, in people's inbox. It'll be on the
No,
town
I think the opposite of that, because we're really trying to cast that wide net, and somebody might know somebody else, and it shows that we're trying.
Okay. No, fair point.
Maybe we should just wait a week and do it then instead of,
Okay.
let the, go out to our individual contacts first.
Mhm.
Like, cause I think those are probably higher value.
For some reason, the owl keeps going to mute. I don't know why. Yeah, just give it a week just to make sure there's no blips.
Yeah,
Like a spelling error or something.
yeah, or we need to edit the RFI for some reason. And then, do we wanna, we wanna talk about marketing?
So, I know, Jen had come up, with Edible Boston as a place to be posting our RFI. And it seems like the deadline for digital in the newsletter sounds like it's tomorrow.
So the deadline for print. So what the issue is we have, a deadline for response of 3/1. And this publication goes out 3/15. So we either need to change the date of the deadline for the response, or we can only do digital. So it's not their deadline, it's our deadline.
Yeah.
So we can still do the quarter page, but it will be after our 3/1 deadline that we've written it up as.
Is it cheaper if we just do digital?
Yes, yeah,
And then you
and
can
then
do
we
the
can do the
RFP.
RFP for summertime
Mhm.
for a quarter of a page. So Amy came up with these great ads.
It's like an artist putting their art up there. So
And
I can
then-
change the
Did
background.
this with Canva?
Yeah. I can change the background color.
Yeah, I'd be inclined to go digital and then save the print ad space for the RFI, because then that will hit the next.
That comes out in June.
And the text is the
But the
same on
RFI would
both
still be valid.
the digital
Yes.
print one, which is the longer rectangular one, then the print piece. is the same.
I think I wrote print and digital on top.
But so the magazine comes out on the 15th of March.
Correct. And right now it's worded that our deadline says March 1st, so it's. But we can go in the digital tomorrow. Digital goes out once a week,
Okay.
That
So we
goes out
can-
more than once,
once a week.
but does it go out every week, or does it only go out once?
We can tweak it, we can do it. Digital is no extra charge.
Okay.
But will our ad go out every single week?
Only if we keep paying.
Only,
Okay, so we
well,
only
the
get,
print ad is not going at all.
Right.
No, no,
Yeah, I know,
understand
just
that,
the
but
digital ad.
Digital ad usually only goes out once. That's what
I'd
I'm-
have to look back at her email. I think, no, it can go
Okay.
out, because she volunteered. Now, you ended up chatting with her today, didn't you? Or-
no, I mean, we were just on email going over, she sent me, I sent her 2 formats, that we came down to.
Mhm.
And she gave me some edits, and so I was sort of doing this editing, and then, I found out that the digital ad deadline was tomorrow, so then I like kind of stopped doing the print stuff and they just like reformatted it to do digital, so we were just going back and
Right.
forth on
They're
that.
very flexible and, you know, whatever we need done
So
because of our
I
deadline.
guess my only concern is that if we only get one shot at digital,
Mhm.
I'd like to wait a week
Okay.
and make sure there aren't any tweaks this week, that we
Right.
have everything in after it's been out for a week. But if it comes out every week at not an additional fee, then
Do we know how much the digital is?
We did. We did.
yeah, that was the last meeting.
That was at the last meeting. Yeah, I didn't. bring
I
it.
can
Okay.
look it up quick.
$9.95, I think, was the print. $100 was help with the digital.
Yeah.
And yeah, that was it.
And that was all that we
Yeah,
have on the.
That's all we had
contract.
on the contract.
So we'll need to revise that. If we're not doing print.
Mhm.
Well, we just need to let her know and she'll cross it off. For spring, for the spring issue, no print. The print was
But we don't have
$9.95.
we don't have a payment for digital on that contract.
I have the blank contract.
Yeah,
I didn't.
We'll just have to resubmit it to
yeah,
Ryan and
Thanks.
Jim.
that's what I'm trying to say.
We'll just have to give them a new invoice so they can pay it.
Yeah.
But it used, so it's $100 for the digital?
Was the revision. This was all based on a quarter page ad at
Oh, I see.
$9.95. So then the
I
digital
see.
was free to go with
Got it. So we don't know how
along
much
with it.
So
digital,
you're,
we don't know
yeah.
how much standalone digital is.
Yeah.
but we're committing to the spring ad. So it's not like we're pulling out all the print ads.
Well, yeah, we are. That's what we're saying, because our RFI says deadline March 1st. The
No, I'm talking about
publication,
The RFP.
oh, RFPs is for the summer issue.
Right.
Which comes out.
So we're not pulling all our print
Correct.
money from them. We're
Correct.
just pulling one of the ads.
I
Correct.
think my understanding, and I could be wrong on this interpretation, is that there is some reticence to committing or signing a contract to commit funds for publishing or making advertisements for things that we haven't yet finalized and know we're going to be able to make the deadlines for. So the RFI makes sense for digital, especially because we can, we're approving it tonight and we can do it, but committing $1,000 for a print ad in summer for an RFP that we aren't certain is going to make the deadlines.
Right.
There's going to be, I think there's some questions about that.
I think if we chat with her, I think there's flexibility.
Okay.
They understand what we're trying to do and they really want to see this, they want to help us.
Yeah.
So I think there's flexibility here. We can chat between Amy and I, we can chat with Sarah tomorrow.
Yeah. I would just say, why don't we move forward with signing a contract for digital right now?
Mhm.
And then we can always do another contract for the summer,
Mhm.
once we see how everything's going in terms of our timeline. And what they have and what their flexibility is and what they can do for us in terms of helping us.
The rate they gave us was substantially discounted because
Yeah.
of what we're doing. So
Yeah.
when I asked for $3,000, it was based on their stock rates
Yeah.
and their media kit.
So
So $9.95 was a substantial
that's
discount.
good. That's the print prices,
Yeah,
but doesn't have the digital.
I'm not
Yeah,
saying
okay,
it.
that's
No, digital went along with it. That's
I know,
what
but I'm saying like, if we're doing
Just
digital
digital.
only, like what are we, I'm curious what
Yep.
we're gonna pay. Like if it's $800, I'm like, I don't know about that.
It's not gonna be cheap because they're not getting both. So,
Yeah,
If that's the case where that's all rolled together, does it make sense to do something like this time around to save the date on the print of, please, look forward.
RFP coming,
Yeah,
something like that,
RFP coming spring or summer of 24.
coming summer issue or got published as, June 15, it's March 15, June 15.
so how big a distribution is this?
Oh, it's, I had all those, I don't,
yeah, so let's.
we had all that in the media
Okay.
kit, which I can forward you, no problem. They have like a 4-time, pass around rate, which is very high. They have.
So for the digital platform, for Facebook is 12,500, Instagram is 21,700. Their newsletter is 7,800, self-selected signups. They have an average open rate of 49%.
Mhm.
For this is digital, and then
Yeah.
for print, they have an annual
reader reach of over 500,000 people,
Okay,
so.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So Matthew, you'll,
I'll find that out.
yeah,
I'll
so,
chat with her.
but coming back to where we were, Matthew will kind of tweak it tonight, and that way it'll be ready for distribution tomorrow and hopefully get on the website tomorrow.
Yeah, or
Or
tonight,
tonight.
if you all respond and say, yeah, looks good.
Yeah.
I can just post it whenever.
But we wanted to wait 1 week to go digital with this.
Yeah,
I think so.
yeah, I think it's a good idea to just make sure we didn't do something really, really dumb
Well, just in formatting,
or
everything,
whatever.
everything gets tweaked. Okay, and so then we meet next week. I don't know, this room or the other room, but.
So just to recap, Karen's gonna finalize these edits tonight. Matt's gonna add a front page.
In format, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna I'll format the whole
Yeah.
thing.
Jen and I are gonna get back with Edible Boston. We're gonna tell them we're gonna delay our digital ad for a week.
Mhm.
We're going to just sign a contract and pay an invoice for just a digital ad for right now.
Right.
And then for next week, we're gonna talk about a list of who people have contacted and where it's been sent out.
Budget,
Budget, line item,
We're gonna check with Brad to make sure he's okay with being on that distribution list.
yeah.
Matthew, he has been on email, even though he's been traveling. So
Yeah.
You can,
Oh,
if
okay,
someone wants to ask him.
sure.
Yeah. Any other,
Yeah, what's the deadline that I should convey to town hall for the digital ad? If you want to push it back, when does Edible Boston need it, the contract?
it's on Thursday. They print on
It's,
Thursday.
they print on, right, she needs it, so needs it by Wednesday, so say Tuesday, let's back it off.
Tuesday next week?
So can you get us an invoice from them for the digital ad
Mm-hmm,
so we can submit it?
that is what she sent me before, based
Okay.
on what we wanted.
Okay,
So that's got the print at
Great.
$9.95 and then a $100 tweak and it includes digital,
okay,
so.
cool. Yeah, so if we get this for the digital, then we can give it to.
Yeah.
Robin.
So you might want to make a motion of how much money we're gonna spend on that digital ad. Because it's gonna be,
So I just got, while we were talking, I texted Sarah at Edible Boston,
Thank you.
and said, how much is the digital ad? And she said, no charge, happy to do it. See,
Oh,
you can even read it.
that's so
did you tell
nice.
her we were not doing the print?
No, I didn't say that.
Yeah.
You should say, that's sort of.
Well, you know what, I wouldn't text her that, let's talk with her tomorrow,
Okay.
let's connect with her tomorrow and
Yeah,
explain
that's-
why,
Give her the context, yeah.
Yeah,
right.
We have a good reason. We're not just cheap.
yeah.
Yeah. So, so just remind me, so that total of both digital and print was
$9.95.
$9.95.
Plus 100 for our work.
For tweaking and, right,
So if you look at the basis of what you think the value of, because we have to commit to that money, so that way you can sign that next week. If all of a sudden she comes back and says, sorry, it's gonna be $800 for just the digital, then I think,
I still think that would be a good investment. For that kind of reach. I think it would be very,
I'm okay with it. I would like to understand what else are we gonna, where else is it gonna go?
or like how often is that email? How many times is that going to come in that email?
Are we gonna do something in the Lowell Sun? Are we going to do, I think we have to do something in the Register, but I don't think that's a whole, if we have to do it, we have to do it. I don't think that's subject to.
Okay.
that needs to be subject to a vote, but do we want to do Little Sun as well?
I don't,
Is this our
I
only
can't
ad?
see Lowell's on.
yeah.
I can't see.
Yeah, if we were gonna pay, I would rather pay for, agriculturally focused outlets.
Brad talked to
Do you have to
Stuart from,
locally?
he's gonna do an article which goes into a few different agricultural publications.
Do you wanna put that on for discussion for next week?
Obligations with register, with the register.
Sorry, what was it?
We'll just put that on for discussion for next week.
Sports, type things locally.
I know.
They often go-
Who did he talk to?
Even though it may not
The guy,
be.
Stuart, I think it's ST.
Transparent. Who knows what response you
And
get,
that's
but
one publication is not
There's some
Astro
farmers
Farmer, but they have
get it.
a number of
area.
different ones.
What's it called? Astro Farmer?
Lancaster.
Lancaster
Oh.
Farmer.
Gosh, that's big.
And sorry, Sarah, just to clarify, what should be on the agenda for next week? When we were talking about,
Other additional advertising venues, paid advertising venues.
Wasn't there was a business journal that Brad was talking about as well?
The Worcester Business
The Worcester
Journal
Business
was
Journal?
very expensive.
But
But that
then
was
he-
more a classified ad than
Right.
it was
I don't,
an editorial or
Okay.
anything.
He thought they
No.
might be interested in writing an article about it.
I asked, no.
Okay, well, there it
That's
is
the
then.
short answer.
Okay, that's good to know.
No, we had an email back and forth quite a bit and they suggested classified ad.
I would think the town might have some standard procedure about when they go out for bids and so on. I mean, all the land use boards have to publish things for hearings and so on. I mean, I would think somewhere locally, you might have to publish that.
We do, and that's what I was referring to when I said the register,
Yeah,
right? So it'll go in the register for sure. Maybe Lowell as well, if it has to.
I'm sorry, just what, I don't understand. What's the register?
There's literally like a register of RFPs that go out so that everyone has a fair opportunity. Businesses literally can pour over it and see, oh, Lowell's looking for a contractor to do X and Littleson's looking for Y.
I assume it's on the web.
Yeah, it'll be, yeah, so,
I mean, much like public hearings have to get published locally. And this is the finance side.
I think what town hall was looking for was more regarding the discretionary numbers. So if we want to do agricultural as well, other agricultural publications, and we can let them know that.
Are there any other?
Mass Farm Bureau does a newsletter.
That's a good idea.
Digital, yeah.
both.
Oh,
Raise your animals, right?
I wonder if DAR, if there's anything that they would,
Or they're involved,
in the,
they're posting, they'll post this.
they will.
yeah, they have a
They have a
newsletter.
Got it.
One that's shown.
Oh, cool. And they send out as an email blast.
Yeah.
That's great. Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So for now, the message to Jim and Ryan is don't do anything. We're gonna get you more information.
I mean, do we want to put a cap on how much we're willing to spend for the,
We
I think we talked about 5,000.
no, I mean, specifically for the digital for the Edible Boston, because we may have to decide without having a meeting whether or not we want to.
Well, that's what I just said, that
Yeah.
I was gonna come up with a vote, but Jen said it's worth what we were gonna pay for anyways.
I would think so for that readership.
So we have up to the 995. If we went with, if you have to do something in print, do, save the date or coming up, RFP for the print part of it. RFP coming spring or summer 24, please.
I was gonna say, well, I would think, commit to the summer issue
Mhm.
for the RFP.
But to
We
lock
can't
in, to
right
lock
now.
in the 995, if you had to put something in print.
Okay.
Yeah, because what happens if no one applies to the
You
RFI?
You could put the town hyperlink in. And then, because that can change, the dates can change on that.
You mean the link to the RFI?
Yeah.
Something in print, right?
Oh, I see.
If there's a cost to the digital, if the,
Yeah, well, but I mean, I think
If
I'm a little hesitant to commit to doing this for the summer issue because
Right.
the deadline for submitting that is what, March 15th or, you know, and then it comes out in June.
Runs in June.
Oh,
So then-
holy cow.
But
We
Digital is, we could change it today. and do
Right,
it
but
tomorrow.
if we're committing to the print, we won't have time to. finish.
May, I think it's May.
I just, given how this process has gone so far.
Why don't we ask, when we talk to Sarah at Edible Boston, like what her flexibility is, like just give her, we hope for the summer issue, but it may have to go to fall.
Right.
Like just not lock in with anything, just like we need to keep
It's
this
a quarter
flexible.
page ad. I can't see them not being flexible.
Yeah,
Then the other
But we
question
can-
is, how often does, in respect to the digital, how often does it go out? Is it just a one and done? Or does it stay in a couple of the newsletters that go out weekly?
When we chatted, there was flexibility there.
Okay, cool.
We could probably even change what we said.
Mhm.
So it doesn't have to be the same thing going out every week.
Right. Snow's melting, you can see it now.
For the RFP, we need another picture.
Is there anything else on the agenda?
nope. Is there anything else we should discuss, or should someone make a motion to close the meeting? So moved.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna-
7:56 PM.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Meeting adjourned.